go ahead and state your name for us, and then go ahead and tell us what represents home to you, whether it's a person, a place, or a thing.
My name is Laura, but I go by auradelaluna. Home for me, I feel like, is always where you can freely express yourself and feel comfortable, wherever that may be. I feel like home can be many different places. For me, it's always been that. Like, I've always had home here in New York, always had home in Europe, like where I grew up partly, always had home wherever I like had friends, you know. I went on a scholarship. It's called the Posse Foundation. So I had my posse with me. Shout out my posse. So it was like 12 of us that went together from New York. So we had this community, and we had a mentor who was a professor there. So that really helped us like feel like there was still something there for us. But being a New Yorker in LA is so different. Like, just the speed of life, the way we talk, our lingo, the way we dress, everything is so different. So I definitely felt like I stood out, and all the New Yorkers stood out just being there. But I also feel like it was great because I found so many new connections and people, and it's definitely still one of my homes. Like, since I've left, I'm always back and forth.
And do you think like that culture that you learned there that was so different from New York City culture, did you input that now in your music in any way?
I feel like, yeah, in a way, because people, like, ever since I went, my friends here at home would be like, oh, you're a Cali girl. And I guess I always got that because I'm like down to earth and chill. So I'm like, it makes sense. I was drawing palm trees, like that comes from my dad's art. So like it was all like, it kind of made sense together. But yeah, I definitely feel like I brought some of that back with me, like trying to take a more calm approach to things, or like not rushing, because I feel like it's in my nature, it's in New Yorkers' natures to rush. And I feel like that's something I learned there. Like, there's no point in rushing. Like, you're gonna be the first one, which is fine for some things, but no, I like that. Taking your time, being present. Yeah.
You touched on your dad, Alex Guerrero. He's a huge creative. He's very talented. He's well known, a really recognized figure. Does his creativity and his art inspire your artistic take in your music?
100%. He always had us around him making art. So, you know, parents. My mom was in school and working. My dad was working and also an artist, so he would just bring us around to the studio. I grew up around it. I was around his friends who were musicians and visual artists. So he also taught me and my sister everything he knows, like every medium that we kind of had some interest in, we ended up learning. So I definitely feel like I take that into consideration, like his approach to like learning new skills, like really getting the foundation before you like try to go ahead. That, and just having a message in your art and having it be about something bigger than yourself, not having it be about you too. And I think that's like, when I first started making music, it was definitely, I think it was more talking about me, but now I feel like it's more talking about the world and life. And I kind of feel like that's definitely my dad. Like, I got that from him.
What does your ideal world look like?
It would just be so beautiful, I think, to live in a time where we weren't so focused on social media or just like the external. Like, I feel like life has become just focusing on how things look versus how things feel sometimes. And when things feel right, it doesn't matter how it looks, you know. So I would love to have that and have the balance of nature be back, because nature is so off balance and it's because of us. So it would be nice to be in harmony with nature again. That would be my ideal world. Living on an island somewhere.
And I feel like your music conveys that message. And when you make music, what do you want people to feel when they hear it?
I want them to feel love. Literally, always. Or just feel like whatever it is, you know, sometimes you go through something deep and sad, and you maybe are not saying it exactly in the song, but you're saying enough that it touches somebody. Like, I feel like as long as you can connect in some way, or if it makes you feel good, like, that's awesome to me.
What inspired your artistic name, auradelaluna?
It kind of like happened in pieces. So I used to tag, draw, and doodle. So I used to like come up with like tag names. So I used to tag Aura, but I would write it triangle URA. And then I always would draw like the moon. I was like always into the sun and the moon. And somebody in college was like, you're like the moon, like, and would just say that to me. So then I started writing de la luna. And I was like, auradelaluna, aura of the moon, and it kind of like made sense to me. I think that eventually I'm gonna just be Luna, because it's just what, like, I'm already used to people just calling me that. Like, some people say aura too, but I feel like Luna is more me.
Tell us about Luna Mars.
So Luna Mars is a small business that I started during the pandemic, and it was just because I love making, like, I love being crafty and making things. So I was like, this would be fun to try. And I was also starting to take this herbology course, so I was really into that. And I wanted to make something that's friendly for all skin types. So the first product that I made was a natural vapor rub that doesn't have no menthol in it. But yeah, it was just for fun, really, and also because I just love doing those type of things.
So at our coffee table, we have a little museum of auradelaluna. Can you tell us a little bit of the things that you brought with you today that represent you?
I guess I'll start on this side. So right here, I have like my favorite incense. These are cone incense. I usually don't get those, but I like these. Are cute too. But I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, so forgive me if I'm not. It's Nang Champa incense, and I just love those. I always kind of bring them in too when I'm recording in the studio and things like that, so I thought to bring that. And then these right here are like these Macedonian slippers. I don't know the actual name for this either too, but I thought it was so cute because that's like where my mom's side of the family's from. And then this is a sound bowl. I believe this one is from Tibet, so it's nice. I play it sometimes when I'm stressed or like just, I don't know, I play it even for my cat too, and they like, I feel like they like in tune.
They're like, you get it.
Yeah.
You feel it.
And then here is my Luna Mars vapor rub that I was talking about earlier. So yeah, that was like the second version because I made like a new branding. And then here is my sister's Believe Yourself keychain. And my sister Mia, she's a great visual artist. And then in the front I have crystals. So that's the amethyst cluster, a pyrite, and selenite crystal. So yeah.
I love that. Thank you for bringing these.
Yeah.
A little bit of your casa and my casa.
Yeah.
Mi casa, tu casa. Do you make visual art yourself as well?
Yeah, so that's kind of how I started off creatively. I always used to draw and paint. I've screen printed and made like shirts before. And a lot of like the little palm trees that you see, I draw those. So it's kind of like a variation of my dad's palm tree and like my symbol. But yeah, I've made my own art and I like to incorporate it in the music too. So some of my cover arts are like me and my sisters work together. Definitely want it to be as much as me as I can.
Are auradelaluna and Laura the same person, or is that a alter ego for who Laura is?
I feel like it's the same person, but sometimes I think Luna, like I always see like Aura and Luna are two different sides. So Aura's me and Luna is like nighttime. So if sometimes I feel like in my music that comes out where I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I could be in that mood or like, you know, say those things, but it'll happen and it gives like a different side to me.
So Luna's like your sensual self.
Yeah, I would say so. More sensual, mysterious, mystical.
And then Laura's and Aura are your light self.
Yeah. That I literally see it as like A side and B side, like two different sides.
Do you see yourself as a human being or a human doing?
I would say human doing, but definitely wasn't always there. I think that comes with like your awareness. So there's definitely moments in my life where looking back, I'm like, oh, I wasn't there. And now I do feel like I'm a lot more present. And I think that's why I've been making more music recently, because it's me being here and like just experiencing life and making it flow through the songs. Yeah.
What should we expect from you? Any projects coming up? Any new music that we should be watching out for?
Yes, definitely. I'm going to drop a new song called, well, I'm not gonna say the name yet because I'm still deciding. Mystery. But soon, like very, very soon, probably right after June. And besides that, I do have some collabs with my friends Young Wepa and Wahi Bonds, you know. And then I also want to put out like a little EP, just me. So I would say like summertime, midsummer, end of summer, definitely gonna have some new music out.
Be on the lookout
Yes.
for auradelaluna. Why are you worth knowing?
what I always say, like why I make music or like the purpose behind it is because I've always been a person in my experiences that brings people together, and I feel like that's something I really pursue to do with my music, like have lyrics and have songs that connect people where it doesn't matter if you don't understand the language, but the energy and the vibration is there, so it doesn't matter who's in the room, we can all be feeling the same. I'm just very open and excited and creative, and I just would love to like connect with more people. And I'll put it out there, I want to work with more women artists. That's always been a goal of mine, like producers, engineers, singers, rappers, all of that.
And if you had to change something in the music industry, what would it be?
I wish you could just take all the fakeness away, because I feel like music at its core is about truth and like vulnerability and love. So I feel like a lot of what's popular and what people praise is just gimmicks. It's all made up. It's just a moment. It's not gonna last. So I wish we could bring back like the real rawness to music. And I really do think it's happening. I think people are getting tired of what's been happening.
What do you need to achieve to feel like you've made it?
I feel like obviously it would be when I don't have to work for somebody and I could work for myself and I could work with my friends. That I think the moment that like that's happening and we're traveling and we're like, oh, I don't have to like think about clocking in somewhere, like we could just keep going right now, I think that's when I'll know. But honestly, I really do feel like I'm in that space kind of right now with my friends. Like I feel like we're in an early place of like getting to where we're working for.
It's here.
Yeah, it's here. It's happening.
It's here. It's happening. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
Tune in to Auradelaluna. You better. You have no choice because she's amazing. And if you're not, you're bugging. What's wrong with you?